So today we're looking at actually building out the settings section. So for this we're going to be doing a few routes that kind of connect them together, and some of it's going to be kind of temporary. And I'm actually going to bring over my microphone. So sorry, what it's saying is today we're going to actually be building the settings section. Some of it's going to be a temporary placeholder, but this is going to directly route into the ability to create email accounts from the interface as opposed to doing it from the terminal. And this is going to let us do the whole entire CRUD setup for that. Yeah, kind of getting that kind of scaffolding in place. So that is the plan for today. So let's get to her. All right. So where we are right now is if we sign in, we've got our menu, and we've got Tim Cook here, and we have our accounts and our settings. Okay, so we want to have the settings go to a settings page for right now. So eventually this is going to be kind of a dashboard where you're going to have a million settings. But for now, this will just go directly to a email accounts page. Okay, so let's get started with that. So loading up the the menu. Homecoming people, that's the main menu, so we want the user menu. So the settings is currently going to nowhere, so we want this to go to settings, and then we're going to have a in here we're going to have a email accounts path, and this is going to blow up. Perfect. So in our routes, we can do a resource that goes as for the email accounts, and with this we can do Rails routes to see what this generates. So what this is going to give us, if we just blow this up a little bit, is that we have our email accounts. So with that, we want to put this into like a settings. So we have settings / email accounts, and also going to a settings email accounts controller. So for that, we can use a namespace. And if we run that again, we can see that it gives us settings, email accounts, whatever. We're going to a settings, email accounts controller, and we get a settings, email accounts, new settings, email accounts, etc. Helpers. So this should now load. If I click to it, what is we doing in the user? Link to settings email accounts path. Why is that? Why did that just try to go download it? That's weird. href. Well, it's giving us a name error, of course. So let's go make that. So we've got our controllers, a new folder for settings, and we'll have our email accounts. All right, so we have our class settings email accounts controller, which is still going to be a secure controller. And we'll have our index. All right. So let's try that again. And action show. Why is it going to a show? resources, email accounts. All right, let's try that again. So if we go to settings, all right, so we'll move accounts controller. And it's being redirected to accounts. Why is it being redirected to accounts? All right, there we go. I had not selected an account, that's why. Okay, so that's actually something to note. We need to do something better for missing accounts. Not having a selected account, rather. So some things there will be stuff like you probably want to hide the menu and other stuff. Don't know what it is right now, but all right. So we've got that. We're going to make the view for it. So this is going to be in settings, and then email accounts and index.html.erp. So now this is where you should be yelling at me and saying, aren't you going to TDD this? And yeah, let's do that. It takes a little bit longer, but it does mean that you have that that infrastructure in place, which means that when you... So the reason that I like to TDD, even just this basic CRUD operations, is right now it's super easy. I know exactly what this code is going to look like. It is trivial to set up. So for me, it's quick, easy, simple, and I'm very comfortable doing it. Now, if I get to a point where there's something difficult to do, then I have to do two things. I have to set up the scaffolding and solve the difficult problem. So by having the TDD done on this easy stuff, I don't have to think about that, and now I have a structure in place to give me a sane starting place for solving the difficult problem when I get there. All right, so I'm going to do Rails grspec feature, and this is going to be user. Let me just check and see how I phrased this in the other ones. Users can manage email accounts. All right, and for this, we are going to copy over just that intro boilerplate and make sure that we select our account. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to click on user menu. You want to click on settings. Eventually, we're going to want to click on email accounts, but we're not there yet. We're going to probably have like a settings landing page that's not going to be email accounts, but we're not there yet. And then I'm going to click on add account. I want to fill in username with we'll go with my username, and we'll fill in the password with password 123, best password ever. We're going to fill in URL, and this is all caps, which is going to be a problem, with imap.server.com, fill in port with 1, 2, 3, 4, and click on create email account. Now, one thing I probably want to do, one thing I'm torn on is making these be like save, that type of thing. I'm always torn on that. I know that they like make it explicit so it says exactly what you're doing, but on these pages with just one action, I don't really know if it's necessary. But yeah, not sure. Okay, so create email account. So at this point, I should be seeing a page that has something like on the index page, it's going to have a list of all of the accounts. So we're going to see expect pay. So I'm going to be using that. Well, expect page dot to have content, my username. Here we're probably gonna have something like a green indicator. Last checked. Other stuff, I don't know. I'm gonna click on edit, fill in username. So I'm just going to change the username and see that it shows up. And so fill in username, click on update email account. And in here, we're going to now expect page to have content, new username. And if we click on, so we should be able to I don't know, maybe we'll have a check message, check emails button. No, that's gonna be something that I don't want to keep in the interface. We wanted this running in the background automatically. So what we do want to be able to do though is we want to be able to click on. So we want to be able to disable an account. That way it's no longer processing, re-enable the account, but also be able to archive the account. Yeah, so click on disable, click on enable, and click on archive. So if we've archived it, then it's basically going to turn it off. We explicitly don't want to be able to delete stuff, because if we delete the account, then like what happens to all the emails in the system? I don't really know. So at this point, it should. So we expect page to. We expect page not to have content. New username, so it's going to be removed. We now can click on archived, and let's go to a archive list of accounts. We'll expect page dot to have content, new username. Click on unarchive. At this point, we'll not have the new username, and and so means you'll be back onto the main page. All right. So, what did I do wrong here? Yeah. There we go. That's why some of the indentation was going weird. So Capybara is not using JavaScript right now. If I did JS true up here, this would use JavaScript. So it is seeing two settings links. So click on settings. So it's interesting. That means I actually don't even need to do this, but we'll leave that for now. So we will go. What is it? First. I think it's match first. Let's see if I got that right. Perfect. Okay, so we're now getting down to here. Okay, so on our, let's close these up. So on here, we're going to have a link to new settings, email account path. And we should probably give it the right code. All right, new cannot be found. Perfect. That's the exact error that we're. So one of the things that's nice is as you're doing this more and more, you know what error you expect to be getting. So for example, I expect now it's going to yell at me about a template. Yep. So so that's just nice because it means that you know that you're doing the right stuff, that things are wired up the way you expect, and yeah, that just means that you're doing the right things. So here's where you would put the form field in here, but then you do the edit page and you move it over. So I'm just actually gonna cheat. I'm gonna do this and pull the form out just in one step. That's because I know what I'm going to be, where I'm going. When I go to the edit, I'm going to have to do the exact same thing all over again. So let's just cut to the chase. Form with model email account. Now, we built a custom form builder, so this gives us kind of a little bit of tools to more easily do things. So in here, I can just go. So what are you looking for? You're looking for the username. Form dot. This gives me a custom input. For this input, I can. It's just going to figure out on the back end what to do, kind of similar to what you get with Simple Form. So here, I want the username. And if we actually go over here, just to show you what this is doing. All right, so this is actually something where I'm going to need to customize that form builder because it doesn't have. So I'm cheating on the form builder right now. Email is using email field, password using a password field, and this is not going to work properly. But for now, I'm just going to do a text field. So that now gives us this, which is enough to pass the tests. And this is going to be a problem once I want to do a checkbox field or a number field. So we're going to have to make this a little bit more robust, but that's fine for now. All right, I'm going to find field username. Username. And we want a password. I jumped the gun on that. I wasn't watching what the error was. Now it's asking for a password. Okay. URL. And is it still fighting? Yep. So it's still looking for a URL. And that is because it's wanting to have different localizations. And I can never remember what these are by default. Rails I18 and localization. Rails I18 and localization helpers. So what I'm going to want to do is make a new file. I'm going to call this email accounts dot en dot YAML, and here we go. Come on. I know that you're going to give me the details somewhere. Rails ID and localization helpers for form builder. All right, you know what? I'll check that up, the documentation on that. But basically, we're looking to do something along the lines of it's going to be en. I forget what it is. I think it's like helpers, email account, labels, and then it'll be like URL is URL. I doubt that's right, but let's see if I'm lucky. Yeah, no. Just scan through on here, and then I'll give up for now. Yeah. Oh. All right. Giving up. We'll look at doing that later. That's fine. So let's just change this to URL. And I'll just make a note in here to update that. Not that it matters, but that's just the way I like to look. And now fill in a port. So this should actually be a number field, which is not. It's still going to be a text field, which is something that I'd like to change, but That's something that's on the to-do list for sure. Okay. Why is that not giving me a submit button? Is my form builder messed up? My form builder, submit. Doing nothing. Submit name commit. Why are you? I have a guess. So I'm guessing that I'm not using some of those color classes anywhere else. So because I'm not using some of these like BG Indigo 600 anywhere, Tailwind is not picking that up. So if I go to Tailwind config, it's looking at all of these files. So we actually don't have those strings of those classes showing up anywhere. So it's going to be purged, which is a great feature as long as it doesn't bite you. So I'm going to go to model, models / my form builder .rb and add that to the list of things, and boom, there we go. So what's happening is this was adding the background indigo, but nowhere else in the application in any of our views do we have that same background color being used. And so because of that, as far as Tailwind is concerned, nothing's using it, and it can be purged from the CSS that gets generated. So by adding this file, what's now happening is it's seeing those classes because it's basically those words show up in the application. Now it has save, and that's happening because we actually are not creating anything in here. So let's do that. Email account equals email account dot new, and that's going to change that to email accounts path. Ooh, good. So now we're actually running some real problems here. That's good. Okay, so the other thing that's happening is that this menu needs to have a settings added to it, and now we're good. So what happens is when you send in a model or use URL for, if you pass an array, it's going to figure out kind of what the path, the cumulative path is there. So by throwing just a string or a symbol with settings, it's going to append settings to the path to figure stuff out. So now we get our create email account. All right, we're good. So let's actually run this again, and it's going to now complain about create. Perfect, back in business. All right, so def create. So we're going to redirect to the settings email accounts path, and now it's complaining that it doesn't exist, so let's create it. Email account equals email account dot new. We're going to be using the email account params, which don't exist, but that's okay. That email account dot save, And right now we're going to save exclamation mark because we actually want this to blow up. We're going to have to make this more robust and have more logic that's involved to save things properly and everything. But we're not doing that just yet. Let me actually just bring up the schema for a moment. So in the schema for the email account, we have the username, password, URL, port, and the membership. Okay. So that's actually something you can't grab super easily, which is probably a problem. So email account.membership equals something. So for that, we're going to have to do something like membership for user for the current account. That's what we're looking for. That also reminds me that memberships should be unique per user. So you can't have a membership to multiple memberships to the same account. All right. All right, so for that, we're going to want to do something like current user dot membership for account. Actually, you know what? I would love this to have something that's, well, yeah, we'll do this. Membership for account current account. Something like that. Alternatively, we could do something like, and this might make sense to do, is membership for current account on membership for user current user. Those should be kind of the same. All right. Yep, that's what I want to be writing in here. And now yell at me. Yep. Def email account params. So we want username, password, URL, and port. That's the stuff that can be updated. Save, redirect. All right, that should be about right. Now, hopefully we get an error saying they can't find, the membership for account is one thing we're going to need. So we're going to want to do that on the user. Def membership for account, and in here we're going to say memberships dot where account is account first. I think that should work. Expect to find my username, and that's because we're not doing anything on the home page. So to do that, we're going to need to do at email accounts equals current user dot membership for account current account dot email accounts. I'm seeing this current membership thing coming up a lot, so I'm probably make a helper for that too. All right, and this is gonna yell because I don't think I made email accounts. We'll see. email accounts. Yep. Has many email accounts. Expect to find username. Good. That's the error I was expecting. And that's because we're not spitting out those here. So we're going to do email accounts dot each do count. And in here, let's just do a div each time. And in here, we're going to do, I don't know exactly what I do with this just yet, but we're going to do account dot username. So we'll want to be able to click edit. So we can't really go into the accounts and like show that email account. So I think that editing is actually going to be the default action. So now that I'm actually thinking through it, we want to change that test. So in here, we don't want to click on edit. We want to click on my username. And that's going to go to the edit page. Okay, so we want to do this link to account that username, and this is going to be going to the account. And I think I can do this. We'll see. No, because I want to go to the edit page, not the directly editing. Yeah. So we want to go to the edit, settings, email account, path for the account. Going to find edit. Perfect. So that is again the error I was expecting. And now I can't find the template. Bingo. And this is going to essentially be the same as the new. And it's choking because we didn't get the email account. So email account, so email accounts dot find params ID. Now it's going to complain about that current membership. Perfect. So we have current account, and this is going to be structurally extremely similar. So this is going to be, actually I'm going to put this after the require, because that's kind of the accounty stuff. So current membership. All right, so it's going to return unless current user. This is going to return unless current account, current user dot memberships dot where account is current. And we're going to make this the current membership as a helper, so we can use that in some reviews if needed. Let's see if this worked properly. Good. So that also means we can grab this current membership and use that here and use that here. Cool. And let's see if that still passes. Up to here. Yep. Could not find update. Def update. It's always bad when I fat finger copy and paste. And let's see. All right, and I'm just doing dot update with the same params. All right. There's different ways that you can do the update. Assign attributes, or a bunch of other stuff. So the update is going to be changing the attributes and saving it immediately. So that is one way to go about it. So we're going to update that, and then we're going to redirect back. Settings, email, accounts, path. Let's see if that passes. All right, so we cannot disable it. All right. How long has this been going for? 41 minutes. I was looking to keep these shorter. So for right now, I'm actually going to, let's see, what else is in here? Enable, disable, archive and archiving. Okay, so disabling and archiving it. Okay, yeah, let's do that. So if this option to enable, disable and archive, you know, I'm gonna take this off for now. This isn't core to what I'm trying to do right now, and it's just kind of, I'll probably do this offline. Well, no, let's do it. All right, so we need to, so this disable, what I actually want to do with that is do an update where I just post a new status. So if I go to the index, so that there is going to so I want to disable. This is going to go to the settings, email account path, which I'm going to be posting to it. Sorry, I'm going to be putting to it. I think that's correct. So we've got our Gmail and we got our disable. So if we look at this, what is this going to do? So this is creating, when you do a button to, that's actually going to create a form. So we're posting to that, and that all is in there. All right. What I'm going to do is, so this disable is wired in. I'm actually going to crash my test at this point and just show you what's going on here. So A equals B. So if I run this, it's going to now be able to see that disabled button. So it's missing the email account on the post. And this is happening in, if you hop over to the controller, this is hitting the update action. So that's great. So in here, if we do puts params.inspect, what are we getting here? So we're getting params, the method is put, controller is going to the settings email account, action update, ID is 13, and that's all we're getting. If we look at this other one where we're posting, this has the email account, username, password, URL, port, etc. Okay, so if I go back over to the index, let me check and see if I can format this right. So can I do, so if I think I can do, I'm not sure I can do this, but let's find out. Account, I can do, let's actually just test something I know should work. port 9876. So if I do this, it does build it. Let's see what this looks like. So I'm getting some params passed in, and if I run this again, let's see if so our first post, we get our email account with stuff. On our second post, email account with a port set. So that does do what I want. So, but I want to change this to say something like status disabled. So if I do that and run it, I now get account status disabled. Perfect. Now, let's hop back over to the controllers. So I do want to be able to post a status. And I don't need to inspect this anymore. So unknown attribute status. That's what I was expecting. Okay, so I'm going to Rails G migration add status attributes to email accounts. So I know I'm also going to want to be doing the archived at. That's going to be a date time. So I'm just going to cheat and put it in there right now. All right, let's take a look what this is. So email account status, and that's a string. Default on that is going to be enabled. And email account status string default enabled, and that's going to be null false. So this can never be null, but we definitely have to give it a default, so we're going to say it's enabled. Email accounts archived as date time. This can be null when it's not archived. Okay, and let's over to the email account. So we are going to have an enum called status. And this is going to have enabled. And disabled. And here I want to have, so the question I always ask is, do I want status enabled, status disabled, or enabled status, disabled status? I think I'm going to do it so it's a suffix. Okay. Let's run this again, and now we should Rails DB migrate that, and now we should not get rid of the attribute error. And that's good because that means we got past this clicking on disabled. Woohoo! Let's run that again. So we need to be able to click on enabled. So let's go back over to the index. This is going to be the email account index. Okay. So in here, we're going to be putting a certain one depending. So this will be if account not status enabled. Actually, let's test drive this out. Make sure I got this right. So I'm going to put this here. So this should fail here because on 26 it does have. So if I disable it, it should no longer have a disable button. And if I enable it, it should no longer have an enable button. right, so we do want to hide this here. So we want to go if account. So we want to have the disable button if the account, and actually account dot, now I'm going to move this back over. I'll help with our test, and we might want to refactor it after. Account dot status enabled. I think that should work. Make sure I got that correct. Email account dot first dot status Rails 7 enum suffix. It's a prefix that I'm looking to do. Let's see if I got that right now. There we go. So status enabled. Good. All right. Okay. So yeah, they went back and forth a little bit on that with those. But yeah. So enable, we're going to post again, but here we're going to put enable. If status dot all right, and we're going to kind of do this similar type of thing here. Actually, let's just put this in this big list. Email count archived true, and so we want to have the archive button unless account.archived all right. So if archived is true, don't put right. Okay. And it's I thought something was weird on that. Okay, unless archived. Okay, so this is actually where I like to use a tiny little gem. Time for a Boolean archived. So what this so with this we could do a few things. So we could go def archived, and this would do archived at dot present. So it's going to check to see if our archived at has a time set. It also does something like this, where we can then say archived. So this would do, I don't know what this is doing exactly off the top of my head, but it's doing something like if value So if it's a truthy value, archived at or equals value, or equals time dot current. So if it's a truthy value, archived at is otherwise archived at equals false. Or sorry, not false. No. That's what time for Boolean does. Well, which if this is, I'm likely to be using in other places, but that's really kind of what that functionality gives us. I think I did that right. No, we're going to do self dot. Well, so that's going to be self archived at equals. And see, the fact that I'm now going in here and being like, is that everything? Is why I usually use that gem. It's tiny, but it's useful. Okay, so for there, we now want to add archived and archived. Well, we're never going to post archived at. Let's see if that works right. Okay, so this is where we're now. It's actually, for right now, I can see myself wanting to disable and archive stuff temporarily. Yeah, no, let's finish it. Okay. So in here, we're going to want to have a link to accounts, and this is me going to settings, all accounts, settings, email accounts, path, if params archived, and otherwise we want to archived accounts, and then here we're going to throw in a archived true unless. So this is going to let us toggle between the two pages, which is actually not what we're asking for just yet. So it's expecting to not find text new username. Okay, so in our controller, we're going to grab all the email accounts, and we're going to go email accounts equals email accounts dot where not archived nil if params archived at is nil. Okay, where are we in this right now? 31. Click on archive. Okay. Puts email account dot last dot inspect. So at this point, you should be archived at. Email 13, username, password, image, port, membership created at, updated at, status enabled, archived at is set. Okay. Did I get that controller right? Email accounts. let's try this. So let's archive this. And unless. So I want to get the not archived ones unless it's using that. So expect to find text, my username, and companies. Why did that go away? That's weird. Archive that as nil. My username. So the email comes from emails where email filter membership is 17 and archive that is email accounts where so normally we're going to where archive that is nil. That's gonna give us all. Yeah. Okay. So let's get rid of that. And okay. So I have it clicked on archive now. Perfect. Okay. So when we all right, so now we're getting this. Unarchive, archived is false. And boom. All right, let's see if that, so we know that works. We can archive it. Go to the archive account. We can unarchive it. Ooh, interesting. Let's see what's going on here. Email account archived, false. And it's not doing any update. So what is going on in our if value? Nope. Self archive dot equals nil. So then why aren't you saving? So we do this or equals here. That way, if we don't keep updating it. So that actually never runs. That's interesting. Why is that not getting through? We've got archived in here. Oh. Yeah, see, archived is coming in as false, which is being a string, which evaluates as truthy, and that's why it's doing this stuff. So you know what? At this point, like we had so unarchived. So that's why that's got through. Okay. So this is where I'm going to grab time for Boolean, because that's exactly the type of thing. Like, there's a few little gimmicky small things that the only thing I'm going to want to do is time for a Boolean. And I just want to see when it was last updated. My question is if it's going to work with well, let's see if this still works properly with latest Ruby. Bundle add time for a Boolean. And that will get rid of all of this and replace that with time for a Boolean archived. And reboot the server. Let's see if this solves all of our problems. Beautiful. All right. Goodbye. I am happy to accept that extra dependency to avoid that situation. So the controller, I'm still spitting out a little debugging stuff. Let's see if this runs cleanly. Not quite. Zero puts, there it is. Better. Let's run the whole test suite. Invalid phone number. Okay, so there's a few. Translation is missing, not a big deal there. Yeah, so there's a few kind of minor things that will need to be fixed up, but not a big deal. Okay, but our main thing is that we can now create and manage our email accounts via the interface, and we've started setting up that settings screen. All right. Well, take care, and we'll see you next time. So next time, I don't know what we're going to work on next time. Probably looking at associating the emails that come in with the accounts and the contacts in the account. All right. Take care.